So listen to this quote from an entrepreneur named Lily. That day, changed my life. Wow. I mean, what could possibly happen in a single day to have that kind of impact? Well, it all led to this. $5,000 a month. And get this, it's from a business she started right out of her bedroom. You know that life-changing day we just mentioned? That was the exact moment, the pivot that took a simple hobby and turned it into a legit, profitable career. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and break down the exact blueprint Lily followed to get to that $5,000 a month mark. And look, this isn't just some feel-good story. We're talking about real, actionable steps that, honestly, anyone with a dream can follow. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start at the very beginning, then walk through the 6 key steps she took. Proving her idea, actually getting it out into the world, and then making that game-changing pivot to actually make money. Then we'll dig into the mindset that made it all happen, and at the end, we'll turn it all back to you. So what is this business anyway? Well, Lily started a wellness brand. It all began with her making candles, but later it morphed into her running workshops. And honestly, it's the origin story that makes this whole thing so relatable. See, she didn't come from money or have some fancy business degree. She started with just 3,000 pounds that she'd saved up from her job at a care home. I mean, it just goes to show you, right? You don't need a huge pile of cash to get going. You just need an idea and a little bit of savings. Okay, let's talk about step 1. This is, hands down, the most important step for any business, making that very first sale. It's all about proving your idea is actually, a good idea. So how did it all kick off? Not with some super detailed 50-page business plan. Nope. It started with a simple candle making kit she ordered off Amazon. She just made one for fun, for herself, and her mom saw it and was like, hey, I'll buy that from you. And boom, just like that, she had customer number 1. And this is such a key lesson, you guys. Your very first customer, even if it's your mom, is your proof of concept. That first yes from someone you know, it's huge. It's not just about the money. It's the confirmation, the validation that you've actually made something somebody wants. That's all you need to get the ball rolling. Okay, so the concept is proven. Now it's time to move beyond the family circle. Steps 2 and 3 are all about getting out there, taking the product to the people. Starting small, but thinking big. And check out how fast things started moving. First, she just messages her local gym, asks if she can do a little pop-up shop. They say yes, and she makes 850 pounds in one day. Then her dad sees an ad for a pop-up at Westfield. We're talking a huge shopping mall. Even though she was full of self-doubt, she just went for it and applied. And guess what? They said yes too. And this right here is such a perfect example of a core lesson for anyone starting out. Her own brain was telling her, why would a place like Westfield ever accept my little brand? But she asked anyway. You've just got to be willing to put yourself out there and ignore that little voice in your head that tries to limit what you think is possible. All right, so things are happening. She's making sales, but here's the catch. She wasn't really profitable yet. This is where the next 3 steps come in, and honestly, they cover the single most important shift in her whole story. This is the pivot that finally unlocked real, consistent money. So what was going wrong? It's a classic entrepreneur trap, really. Cash flow. She was getting so excited that she was buying way more stock, candle supplies, than she was actually selling. And it was just eating up all her savings. It's such a tough but crucial lesson about managing your inventory. Think about it. She was selling a physical product. That means you have inventory risk, you have lower profit margins. But then this opportunity popped up to try something totally different, a service-based business. We're talking way less risk and way more potential for profit. It's really the difference between selling a thing and selling an experience. And here it is. This is that life-changing day we talked about at the very start. She's at a pop-up and someone just casually says, hey, you should do a candle making workshop. She'd never, ever done one before, but she just said yes. She literally went home, Googled what to do, bought enough supplies for just 7 people, and it turns out she absolutely loved teaching it. And the numbers? Oh, the numbers backed up that feeling big time. By switching to workshops, her profit margin shot up to an incredible 85%. Think about that. Almost zero inventory risk, and she was making so much more money. It was a no-brainer. She realized workshops, not just selling candles, were the real future of her business. So we've walked through all the practical how-to steps. But what about the stuff going on inside her head? The mindset that holds it all together? Let's dive into some of the core beliefs that really guided her. When she was asked about her secret social media strategy, her answer couldn't have been simpler. Just be yourself. That's it. No fancy hacks, no trying to outsmart the algorithm, just authenticity. Because that's what builds real trust and a real community, and you just can't fake that.
And this next one, this is a mental tool that every single person starting something new needs to have. Rejection is redirection. Look, you're gonna get rejected. It's gonna happen. But if you can see it not as a failure, but as the universe just pointing you in a new direction, that's a superpower. It lets you learn from every no and just keep on moving.
All right, so we've followed Lily's journey from a little idea all the way to a profitable business. Now let's just boil it all down to the key takeaways, the stuff you can actually use to apply this blueprint for yourself. So let's run through that 6-step blueprint one more time. First, prove your idea with just one customer. Second, don't be shy, ask for opportunities. Third, you gotta push past that self-doubt. Fourth, watch your cash and your inventory like a hawk. Fifth, always be open to a pivot. And sixth, when you find what's working, double down. Focus on what's actually making you money. And that really brings us to the big final question. And this one's for you. Lily's entire $5,000 a month business started with a simple candle kit from Amazon. So what's your starting point? What is your candle kit?